Truth is, there is more to us, a strength that's at the core of us, a kindness that will shine through the tough times. Come on. Together we will overcome. We'll find the strength to rise above. Let me hear you.
Anything.
Hey, it really doesn't matter. Come on. No place better. Hey, proud to be Bermudian. Hey, come on. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Bermuda. What's going on? Dr. I am so excited this morning to join you all the way from California. I woke up, it's early, it's 4 o'clock in the morning over here, but I couldn't sleep because we got our first gold medal at the Olympics. Flora, Duffy, come on, Bermuda, where you at? You better start spreading this. You better press, come on, press here. Come on, let's just celebrate right where you are. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm so excited, and I'm humbled and honored to be with you this morning just to celebrate together our gold medalists, our Flora Duffy, but also our community and this moment. I have some amazing panelists who are with us. I just want to just thank them in advance, not just for being with us for this moment, but you know that when you have fruit, there's always a root, and there is a larger community of individuals who have helped to make this moment happen. I'm so excited to be joined by them. They're going to introduce themselves, but I do want to just say their names. And at the beginning of this, also thank Burn News for helping to make this moment happen. This morning, we have Patty with us of the Bermuda Triathlon Association and a BOA executive board member. Thank you, Miss Patty. We appreciate you. Happy birthday. What a birthday gift. Come on.
It certainly was. Thank you very much, Ty.
Thank you for being with us. We also have with us Mr. Norbert Simons, Director of Youth and Sport, and also one of our coaches in Bermuda. Mr. Simons, we're so grateful and thankful for you being with us today. I want to leave this gentleman for last. I'm going to circle back to the other Mr. Douglas. I want to thank also Donna Rayner. Thank you, Mrs. Rayner, for being on, President of the Bermuda Athletics Association, head of women in sport. Can we just celebrate? Come on, our sisters as well. This is not just a gold medal, but come on, our sisters, some powerhouse women. We celebrate our women. Thank you, Mrs. Rayner, for your efforts. We also want to celebrate another powerhouse sister, Miss Katora Horton, Parent Chief. Come on, put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. The first Black woman to ever dive at the Olympics, the first from any country. Come on, that's what we do. Yeah. Not just the first Bermuda, the first of any country to be an Olympic diver. And our Flora's former teammate, and just a beautiful person, scholar athlete who's on. Thank you so much for joining us. And then, listen, he doesn't need much introduction. Mr. Brian Wellman. When I was young, I wanted to be like him. You hit that board, boom, boom, boom. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Boom, let's get it. Right? A former University of Arkansas, just champion. Going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame there very soon, I believe. A 4-time Olympian. I didn't say 1. I didn't say 2. Come on, this is not new. This is not new. Not 3, but 4-time Olympian. A world indoor champion, a world record holder at one point. Come on, that's what we do in Bermuda. Come on, 65,000, and yet we produce greatness. And I wouldn't be here without this great man as well, Mr. Stan Douglas, who also happens to be my dad. Dad, I celebrate you. You're not just on because you're my dad, but you're on because you have made a significant influence and impact on sport in Bermuda as the previous executive officer and secretary general of the Bermuda Olympic Association, former Bermuda Track and Field Association president, chef de mission for many games, and just someone who is passionate about sport in Bermuda. To each of you, I just want to give you your flowers. I know Flora's not with us, but I hope she'll watch this at one point in the future. But Flora, we love you, we celebrate you, and we are excited. If you're excited, would you just type in the chat? We're excited. Would you just type in the chat? Proud to be Bermudian. Would you just share this right now? I know you're driving to work. Would you just let the whole island know that we are together in one place online celebrating our Olympians? So real quick, I just want to jump off and say, when I say gold medalist, when I say Flora Duffy, what comes to your mind this morning? I don't know who wants it first. I know who wants it first because I've done my research. And usually when you have the Olympic events, apparently Couture, Horton Parent Chief, always gets called to sort of do the first dive. So sis, give us what is it, the half pipe twist? I don't know what you got in your arsenal. I say Flora Duffy. What comes to your mind this morning? Talk to us.
You know what? Excellence, hard work, dedication, perseverance. She is everything that we have always wanted in an athlete, and the things that we celebrate in all of our Bermudian athletes as they apply themselves to get to the stage that she has put Bermuda on right now. So I just don't have any other words really for the magnitude of this development for Bermudian sports. You know, we had Clarence was our only one before, and he is a national treasure and national gem. Mm-hmm. And now we've got Flora. So the addition is just it's welcome, and it's timely, and we're just so proud of her.
Thank you. Love it. And thank you so much for mentioning Mr. Clarence Hill. Can we put our hands together and celebrate him, right?
The OG.
Yep, that's it. That's it. Bronze medal, 1976. We're so grateful, right? When we talk about the fruit, he's also a part of that root, an Olympic boxer. So young people, today in our conversation, we're not just going to celebrate, but we're hoping that this conversation will educate you and help us to accelerate our efforts going forward. And knowing the name Clarence Hill is a part of that. Thank you so much for setting us up with that, Sister Couture. We appreciate you. I wanna pass the rock, if you will, to another powerhouse lady that's with us, and she's a birthday girl. So would you say happy birthday, a birthday lady? What happy a birthday gift, Miss Patty. Talk to us. I say Flora Duffy this morning. You say what?
I say it's unbelievable. I think Couture said it all. I am speechless. I am overwhelmed. The dedication and the triumph for her is enormous. I mean, this is something that she, as a young athlete, that was her goal. And this tells all the young women in Bermuda, all the juniors, anyone coming up in the world, you can do anything you want to do if you put your mind to it. So for Flora, it was a terrific birthday present for me, but for her, she did this. There are a lot of people behind the scenes that made it happen, but it was her true dedication and her goal in mind that she won the gold for this small island in the middle of the Atlantic. Yeah. I'm just speechless in many ways.
That's amazing. Small but mighty, right? I love it. I love it. So I saw someone post, I think it was Kyle Blankendow who posted, and it was probably others who said the same thing. A big island in a small triangle, right? You know, we're a big island, right? We punch above our weight class, and that's amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to also, well, again, thank you, but also acknowledge, I know you mentioned others in the triathlon space. You mentioned your husband in our sort of pre-broadcast time, and other particular names that you just also want to name in the triathlon space that will be helpful for our community to know about at this time, Ms. Patty.
Well, I think most people know of Tyler Butterfield. He did a few Olympics, starting in 2004 in Athens. We have two up-and-coming junior. Well, they're no juniors anymore. They're racing on the World Triathlon Circuit. And that would be Erica Hawley and Tyler Smith. We do have a couple of other young juniors coming up to follow their footsteps. So we're expecting greatness as they progress through the years to 2023. It took Flora many years. In 2006, with her at Commonwealth Games, she was only 18, 19 years old. But one thing I'd like to point out that this year is a very special year for the Bermuda Triathlon Association, because it marks 40 years since 5 of us started the association. So many special occasions that we need to celebrate, but Flora is at the top of that mountain for us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much. We're so glad you're with us. I want to pass it to another powerhouse woman. She should know back in the day, you know, her and a few of those others, you know, I'm thinking about just the generation of the golden era for me of these middle distance and 24 for May runners. You know, I remember going to the beach and running with them a couple of times as a little fella, you know, Pacers Track Club. Donna Rayner, now administrator, you know, just a powerhouse influencer in sport in Bermuda. Thank you for being on. When I say Flora Duffy, gold medalist, what comes to your mind, man?
Well, I have a lot. Number one is commitment.
Yeah.
That's something I've always said to my athletes, commitment. And I'm going to use the word because we're in that season. Stay to the wicket and the runs will come. And Flora has definitely stayed to the wicket. The other thing I will say, and when I watched that race, I kept saying to my husband, you've got to be in it to win it. And I said, if Flora comes out of that water in the top bunch, I said, we all know her cycling and her running is A1. And so I knew we were in for big things when I saw her come out of that water in 6th place, and she just stayed with the cyclists. I said, we're in for something special. You know, you've got to put in the work. It's not just going to happen overnight. It's not going to be handed to you on a silver platter. You've got to work for it. And when you work for it, I think you appreciate it even more. And as Patty said, and she would know, Flora's been at this for a long time. So, you know, you've got to stick with it. Brian Wellman, who's here, Brian knows you cannot get up one day, go out there, jump, and all of a sudden you're going to be a champion. You have got to put the work in. You know, and I'm just thankful for being a part of the Bermuda Olympic Association, as well as being part of the president of the BNAA, because we're setting our standards high, and I think we're going to reap the benefits. We've got a lot of young people coming. As Patty said, she's got a lot of young people. In track and field, we've got a lot of young people. I would have loved to have seen Janai Parenchik at these Olympics, but it's not his time. Janai's time will come. And, you know, he's got to work for it. And he knows it. You know, come up, reach those standards, and you could be proud. You know, you did it. And so I'm just proud to be and being chairperson of the Women in Sports. I'm also the chairperson of the Gender Leadership for NACAC. This is a great moment for us. As Patty said, Couture said, we as women, we can do it. We can come out the best. But one thing I will say, and I've heard, you know, some people say, we can never, ever, ever forget Clarence Hill as our first medalist. And, you know, yes, I agree, this is Flora's moment, but we can never forget Clarence. Clarence was a trailblazer. Clarence brought him that first medal. So we must never forget Clarence Hill. As you said, Ty, Clarence needs to be in our history books as well as Flora. But congratulations, Flora. Proud of you. Proud, as we said, proud to be Bermudian, and no more excuses. We're a small island. We're not a small island. We are not a small island. We have so much. I mean, technically, we have a swimming pool. We've got one of the best tracks in the world. We cannot keep using that excuse. Bermuda's such a small island. We don't have the resources. We do have the resources. You know, we need to stop saying that. We are not a third world country. We are one of the best, and Flora showed it last night, and Clarence showed it in 1976.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I think you gave us a perfect segue to also say the name and acknowledge Dana Alizadeh, our rower. Yeah. I think Dara. Thank you so much. Dara Alizadeh. Thank you so much. We want to celebrate her and her accomplishment, right?
Him.
So there you go. I'm out of Bermuda. Forgive me.
We have a quarterfinalist rower.
Quarterfinalist rower. Thank you so much. I think it's important that we also acknowledge Dara.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for his accomplishment. If he's watching, Dara, we celebrate you. I heard you also mention Mr. Parenchik, Janai. We celebrate you. Other names. I'm sure you have other names that we need to celebrate as well.
We had Annabelle Collins, who qualified her first horse for the Olympic Games, and unfortunately he fell lame. And she tried to qualify her second horse and fell just short. But I mean, we would have sent 3 qualified Olympians to this games, and that's a monumental sort of achievement for us. Just as Donna said, we're small, but we're not so small. We have produced the likes of Brian Wellman, the likes of Clyde Best, the likes of Clarence Nicky Saunders. I mean, we have some powerhouses in athletics. and we consistently deliver. So, to piggyback off of what Ms. Donna has said, not only do we support our athletes financially, but they have, the backing of a nation of 63,000. So 64,000. So, we really do support them. They get government support. They get Bermuda Olympic Association support, Pan Am Sports support, IOC support.
Yeah.
So, it's not as though they're going in completely unsupported. And over the years, we have done an inordinate amount of work at the BOA level to ensure that our athletes are well taken care of. And you see the fruits of that just materialize in front of our eyes. So
I love
pretty
it.
amazing.
And Ty,
Absolutely. Yes.
I have to do this. I want to celebrate Tyrone Smith, who is ending his career. Tyrone went to 4 Olympics. He made the finals in 2012. Tyrone won the gold medal at the CAC Games, breaking the CAC Games record. So I cannot let this go without me saying, Tyrone, thank you very much for what you've given to Bermuda. We've supported him throughout and in his career, but he has a wonderful future ahead of him. He's just got his MBA.
Love it.
He's been offered a great job. So, congratulations to Tyrone as well.
Absolutely. I love it. And we're seeing the chat. We're seeing it's lighting up. I see Sue Kemp said small but mighty. That's just small maybe in geography, right? 21 square miles. But there's absolutely nothing small about our heart. Absolutely nothing small about our ability. And so we're excited. I see the comments coming in. Pamela Butterfield said Clarence and Flora. And so we keep the comments coming. We're going to continue to put them up. And I love just the excitement and the celebration of not just our present, but also past athletes, like none other than Mr. Brian Wellman, who is on. Mr. Wellman, we're so excited to have you on this morning. Humbled and honored. Again, one of our heroes back in the day for me. So I say Flora Duffy. You say what, sir? Talk to us.
15-year overnight success.
Yeah.
We all get caught up in you see the finished product, but nobody, I always ask people this question. 1995, January 1st, 7:30 a.m., where were you? Most people in bed, hungover, whatever. I was running the beach or running the sand hill horseshoe. So a lot of people don't see the work behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, 15-year overnight success. That's exactly what Flora's done. When you go back and look at it, the thing that I take from it, which is, even though the first time I didn't realize this, is she didn't automatically qualify, and I believe she got lapped on her first Olympics. The next one she got 45th. The next one she got 8th. The fourth one she won it. You go back, you do your homework, you know what you did, or you figure out what you did wrong from the previous and get better. And that's the goal. I mean, so I was part of a team of 2. Mr. Simons here, who was the chef de mission at Worlds in '95. We had 2 athletes from Bermuda, and we got a gold and silver medal at the World Indoor Championships with 2 athletes from Little Bermuda. We actually did better in medal count than Great Britain with, I don't know how many people they showed up with, but considerably more than 2.
Yeah.
And so we as Bermudians, as this panel has shown, we have tons of history here. First ever black diver out of anybody, right?
Come on, out of anybody. Say that one more time. Not just anybody exactly. In the world,
on the planet.
On the planet, came from Bermuda.
Exactly. Right.
You said 62,000. Some people say 65. Some people say 72. Whatever it is a pretty small part. Anybody less than 75,000 people have this accent, right? Come on. And she came from our country. Come on.
So the history is the thing that I hope that this situation with Flora and all these people on the panel and previous, it inspires the next generation to realize that, hey, I come from Bermuda, but that's no excuse. I can get to the top if I put in the work. I do what I need to do. I put in the dedication. Like I said, 15-year overnight success. There's no mysteries to this. You got to put the grind to it. The problem is nowadays, I think it's a statement which I was heard. Lazy people do a little work and expect to be good. Good people work as hard as they can and wonder if they're not being lazy. And so if you don't put in the work, and we ain't talking about the work like for a year or 6 months. This is years of work back to back to back to back to back to get to the successes and levels in which you see people get to. So I tell people all the time, it's no mystery to this. You don't win the Olympic Games, you don't win world titles, you don't break world records without a lot of hard work. And the problem we have is I don't think people understand what hard work truly looks like. And so when you see what the best in the world are doing, they got 2 legs, 2 arms like we do. We just got to put in the work and understand what we need to do to get better at our task to become the best in the world at what we do.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate you. You set us up nicely. One of my heroes, one of my favorite people is also my dad. He's here. Stan Douglas. I see you repping that cow gear. That's right. I'm at the University of California, Berkeley, where I'm the Associate Athletic Director for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging. And some people see the accomplishments that I've had in academics and now in the sport administration space, but you see the fruit. He's the root, right? And so, Dad, I want to give you your flowers and celebrate you when you think of Flora Duffy and this moment. And I know you're a little bit, I'm a bit more like, energetic. He's the, a little bit more, what I mean? Composed, right? Little TD Jakes or something, right? You know what I mean? You might even shed a tear on us with this one, right? But Dad, when we say Flora Duffy, what comes to your mind? Talk to us.
What I see is what I always approached sport with when I was coaching and then as administrator. Sport is about setting goals, applying the necessary work over those goals, reviewing, as Brian said, when it's not successful, you review it, and then you make adjustments, and then you set goals again. I think that Flora has gone through a management exercise over a period of about 17 years. She started out, I think, about 8. I can remember Petty telling me about this young lady about 8 years old or so. And she decided that she wanted to be a champion. This didn't just happen. And she put in the time. She managed herself, learned about herself. As I know, spending time with Brian knew things about his sport, the people in it, their diet. He just knew everything. He was a champion for me way back then because he just knew. Now you're seeing this lady achieve something for this country. And we need to let people know that this didn't just happen. Flora's been at this for years, and she's had some hard outs. In London, I was the chef de mission, and she ended up 45th. What most of the public don't know is when she was on the bike, she was in like 7th or 8th position and crashed. And because she had done the work, she felt that she must get up and finish. So she finished 45th only because of the crash. I believe then she would have probably been in the top 10.
Yeah.
So this young lady is special.
Yeah.
Her support groups are special. The Bermuda Olympic Association, the Triathlon Association, her coaches over the years, her medical support team, but most of all, her family who believed in her enough to give her the support when things went down. Remember, she was sick for a period of time there and didn't know whether she was going to compete ever again. So I'm just so excited. I mean, yesterday, I'll be honest with you, I scheduled my clock and my time and my work to make sure I saw it from start to finish. And at the end of it, I found myself, as you know, Ty, emotional because working in the Bermuda Olympic Association, my dream was always to see another medal. And I think I told Couture one time, I'm here until when we get the next medal. And then I will have to hand it over to somebody else who had the same drive and energy that we have. And Couture is that person. I'm so proud to say that I found a lot of that in her.
Yeah, I can tell. She's got that juice, Dad. I can tell. She's
got it, man.
She's got that juice. She's passionate.
She's got it. And,
that's
not only that, she contributed in sport, and then now she's contributing in administration. If there's anybody that believed that Flora was going to get this medal, it was Couture.
Come on. Let's go on. Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate Couture even right now one more time as well. We celebrate.
You know what? We all knew. We all knew. You know, when I think of, I told the BBC this morning. You know, gosh, I'm emotional. We watched that girl go to Commonwealth Gold, and I mean to know where she came from as her teammate in 2006. You know, deflated, defeated, but on we push. And this is the plight of every Bermudian athlete. So, you know, to be on a panel with Brian Wellman, who was a champion for all of us, a world record, from our country, a 5th place and a 6th place at the Olympic Games from our little country, Nikki Saunders. I mean, like, the fact that those of us who have made history or have seen further, it's because we stand on the shoulders of greatness. This did not come from nowhere. So, you know, the Debbie Jones Hunters of Bermuda, you know, I mean, we are so blessed to come from this level of sporting history. It's really just an honor to be amongst these folk and to be regarded in any way, shape, or form as even their equals, their teammates, is just something that I'm humbled by. I'm blessed, and I'm absolutely emotional thinking of Bermuda's sporting history and our future. So, I mean, last night was just a victory for all of us. For Flora, absolutely, but for all of us.
Absolutely. Yeah, I enjoyed seeing your reaction you had on your Facebook page. Just, you know, throughout and listen, I'm here in California, you know, we got a Gombe hat like in our living room, you know, so I'm doing the best that I can. I'm trying to find out, like, where's the party at? Where are the folks celebrating, right? We're doing the best we could. So I was grateful to see just your process of just celebration and the emotion that you shared in that space. And I'm just so grateful for all of us being able to just share that together, even virtually, right? I know it's been difficult to get together with COVID and the like, but I think it's important for us to be able to have these moments, even this virtual space this morning, to be able to come together and say what an amazing moment this is. And I think it's really a part of a larger movement, if I'm hearing what you all are saying. I want to even make that connection explicit. You know, I love you. I felt this phrase. Maybe it's the title of a book or the title of something that comes from it. But you said "on we pushed," and you talked about the challenges and disappointments as an athlete. But I want to extend and sort of widen the lens a little bit for someone who's watching and maybe just thinks that this is just about sport. No, like, sport is a piece of this. It's a part of it. It's a lens. It's a microcosm of a larger reality of life. So I would like to suggest that for the Bermudian who is watching, you may not have ever played a sport in your life. We push, right? I mean, the challenges that we face, what Flora has accomplished is a reminder that we can do, like the song says, anything, right? It really doesn't matter. There's no place better. We are proud to be Bermudian. So for those who may not fully understand, panelists, the power of sport, like, help us to go beyond just the sport piece and help us to understand the significance of why this moment even matters for a young person or older person who doesn't maybe make the connection quite yet. Why is this so important for Bermuda? Why is this so important even in global conversation, even beyond what sport is as a discipline, but what it means for us more collectively as humans?
Well, I guess I'll jump in. What I think. And as you said, it doesn't have to be sport. It could be anything in life. Is that if you put your mind to it, you can do, as you said, you can do anything. And I'll just keep going back to the point do not keep saying that Bermuda is small or we don't have the resources. We have so many resources. I mean, I've even seen some comments about finances. I think if anyone knew the amount of finances that Bermuda Olympic Association is putting into their athletes, they will be surprised. I mean, we have, as I said, we've got, we've had Tyrone and we've had Flora who've been elite A athletes. And believe me, they have received quite a lot of funding from the Bermuda Olympic Association. Then we have the B athletes. And it's very interesting because right now I'm working with Janai Parentship and his mom. And they are so surprised at how much funding is available for those lot to assist Janai with his career. And we've said, Janai is another one that we see has the potential to medal at Olympic Games. And we are behind him. And Brian would tell you, we are behind him. We sat down with Janai, his mom, Brian, and we talked about what Janai's future is going to look like. And I let his mom know we are behind him 100%. Whatever funding we have to get for Janai, we will make sure. I mean, there's so many and so much funding that's out there that a lot of athletes are not even taking advantage of. You as an administrator, I mean, me as the president of the BNAA, have to stay tuned to what's happening with the Olympic Association. When they put out, oh, it's a grant for this or grant for that, it's up to us to make sure that our athletes know and that our athletes receive this funding. So believe me, there is a lot of funding. There's a lot of support. Family support is A1 important. As Stan said earlier, Flora's family has been behind her from day one. I saw someone make a comment yesterday and said, oh, I remember days when Flora went to Work Academy and her dad used to be riding beside her. And I'll tell you, me as an athlete, I remember mornings. My dad was a musician and he would get up, probably just been home after an hour, and we would go for a run and he was right there beside me running. Support from your family is important.
Everything.
And us as Bermudans, we have to get behind our athletes as well. That support means so much to an athlete, So like you said, it's not just in sport, but it's in anything. If you have a child that's in the arts, get behind that child. Make sure that they have the resources available. And it's not always just sending them overseas. Some of those resources are here. We just have to look for those resources and make sure that they are available to our children so that they can reach and be the best that they could be. So like you said, Ty, it's not just about sports. It's about anything that our children say to us, I want to be or I want to do. We've got to get behind them 100% and provide them with whatever resources we can. But I just want to leave on this last note. Just know that the BOA financially supports these athletes, and we receive funding from government. And I can tell you, BNAA is so thankful to Norbert. Norbert makes sure that we have what we need, in our sport. And whenever it's okay, an athlete don't have this, we can go to Youth and Sport, talk it through, and blah blah. But funding is available for our athletes. It's up to the administrations to make sure that they reach out to the Bermuda Olympic Association when that funding becomes available.
Yeah, excellent. We're going to go to Norbert Simons, and as we transition to him, I saw Kristen White said in the comments, when she saw Flora cross the line, she was like, all right, I'm ready to go get that Emmy, right? So somebody you need to wake up your child and say, come listen to this. This is not just about sport. It's about whatever your dreams are. It is possible. And it's possible because of people like Norbert Simons, a giant who often behind the scenes does things that folks will never know are impacting the fruit that we see. He is a part of that root system. Norbert Simons, can you hear us, sir? We would love to hear from you this morning. When we see, say, Flora Duffy, what comes to your mind?
Good morning. I'm hoping I'm getting through. I'm having all sorts of challenges.
That's okay. We hear you.
What I see is that I'm hoping that this is a renaissance for sports in Bermuda. We've had previous successes with Clarence Hill, and it never really took off. Brian Bellman, Nikki Saunders, and the like. So if this is going to be a renaissance, then when we start talking about being proud to be Bermudian, then I can truly say that we're on the right track. Flora has worked hard, and by her fruits of her labor, she has accomplished what she has set out to do from many years ago. Many of our athletes are trained hard, but I don't think they understand that.
We lost him. That's okay. But he said many of our athletes have trained hard, but we don't understand what happens behind the scenes, right? I saw a video yesterday. I hope you all go and look it up. Just Google Flora. Can we make Flora go viral? Can we make Flora, you know what I mean, like trending on Twitter?
She's viral.
Can we be a part of that? Can we, you know what I mean? Can we push it out? There was a video of her, Mr. Thomas, if we see you, it was a 4-minute video that described her workout routine, like up early in the morning, you know, like I think like 5 workouts throughout the day, naps. I mean, they should have drinking particular. I mean, this was not just you know, a fly by night. I just got up and you know, no, there is a lot that happens. Mr. Simons, you were telling us about that. If you're with us, we'd love to hear you continue. I think he's having a little technical challenge.
And I think that
okay,
can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think that we underestimate the work that's required to be successful in sport. As a country, we recognize and appreciate the international business component and the educational component, but we don't recognize and appreciate the hard work that's required to be successful in sport. And as a small country, we continuously punch above our weight. And Flora has epitomized all of the work that's required to be successful.
Yeah. That's awesome. I want to just transition real quick and get you all's perspectives on just the race itself, right? I know I heard some of you mention, you know, when you saw her come out of the water, sort of in that top group, you knew that things were about to happen. I saw that look too in her eyes there during the run. I saw, like, you could just see when somebody's locked in. I could tell that she was in that zone. It was like a combination of preparation and opportunity, and it was her moment. For each of you, when did you know that something special was happening? What did you see? Talk to us about maybe some strategies that you saw that the average person doesn't know. Mr. Wellman, I see you're itching to go. Talk to us.
Yeah, so I was actually at my job, but we had it on in the hall, and I was actually watching it. And as soon as she made she was like, that was one of the things I pointed out. She was actually probably one of the faster people in a transition. Like I said, you know, you look at your mistakes and things you want to work on getting better. And then she kind of basically took the lead. She took off hard, right out of in the run. And I looked at her competitors, the American lady behind her, and I was looking at her body language and her cadence, and the American's rhythm wasn't that fluent. And you could see that her rhythm was so nice. Her arm movement was good. Her technique was good. And I could tell right there, I was like, these girls ain't going to be able to hang with her. She's going to drop her. And as I saw it, like within the first maybe first 500 meters, I was like, it's a wrap, because you could see the rhythm and how her cadence was relative to the ladies behind her. And she just kept hammering. I was like, it looked like a training run, because obviously, you know, it's a preparation. She's obviously put in the mind, she put in the work, and you could see she was in her groove. And the other women were working hard to be in that same space. So I was like, yeah, I knew early on in the run it was deuces.
Yeah.
This is Patty's question. This is Patty's question. She's the technical official. But let me tell you, I mean, from my layperson's point of view, as a non-triathlete, I knew she had been up Corkscrew Hill 10 times in a row. I watched her. So I fully knew she was going to dominate on the bike. But yeah, this is Patty's question. Patty is the quintessential technical official for triathlon, and it's amazing to hear from her. So what do you think, Patty?
Well, I can't speak for Flora, but every athlete has a schedule, you know, whether it's the weather, whether it's their training, whether it's their competition, that they know everything about their competition. And I think yesterday it might have thrown a lot of the athletes off guard, because first of all, the event was delayed by 15 minutes because they were expecting a typhoon. And so the event could have been delayed to the next day. So I think every athlete yesterday morning had to look at the weather and maybe change their perspective on how they were going to race. So whether it would be letting a little bit of air at your tires, so you get, because of the rain and the weather that is on the blue carpet. We call it the famous blue carpet. I think her strategy had paid off. I mean, she's known to normally go out on the cycle and leave everyone behind, but I think she played a good game. I mean, she did exactly what she wanted to do. For me, I thought from the beginning she was going to win the gold, but whatever the outcome, I'm there to support her, and as everybody else is. But from the get-go, on the cycle where she did just take off, she had a plan. And once run, you could look at the determination. She was focused. She was focused on her goal, which was to win a gold medal for this country. So, yeah, I wish I was there. I've been to 3 other Olympics with her, but it wasn't meant to be. But the whole world watched her, and we're also very proud of Flora. And as it says, it's very historic for the island, but it's historic for the women of Bermuda, the young women athletes of Bermuda. And as everyone has said, it's not just about sport. It's in anything they want to do, whether it's, someone mentioned art or drama club, whatever. Reach for the stars. That's all I can say to any of these young athletes, any of these young women athletes that I'd like to promote. Reach for those stars at an early age. You can do it.
Yeah, I love what you're sharing. I just want to just jump in and just say this because I think it's important for someone who's watching. Again, one of the purposes of our conversation is to educate, right? To celebrate and to accelerate our efforts. And so someone is listening. There's a young person perhaps who doesn't realize that sport is an academic discipline too. Like that's what I tell our student athletes at the University of California, Berkeley. And Cal, we are, I know Katora, you're UT Austin, right? But with all due respect to the Longhorns, we claim to be the number 1 public university, right? And even in this space, right, there is a need for us to make sure that we are clear that academics and athletics, there's explicit intersections, right? What our young people do on the field, it's engineering. When Dwayne Sluggo Leverett, would go and run right arm around the wicket, and then he would switch to right arm over because he was facing a right. There's strategy, right? When the Key Wells would cross the ball at a particular angle, right? Like whatever your sport is, know that you are a scholar too. Like this, there isn't this separation. And so I love what I've heard in this conversation, because when you mentioned, her letting a little bit of the air out of her tires, right? I mean, some people just think, oh, you just get on your bike, you know what I'm saying? And you just run. No, there's strategy, there's science, it's an academic discipline. I think it's important that we make that explicit. I also want somebody to just type in the chat, a parent or a young person. I heard that word transition and I felt something, right? Like her transition that from the swim to I believe it was from the run,
bike to the run,
from the bike to the run. I saw that too. Now I like Katura as related to the triathlon. I'm a lay person, but I saw something. I'm like, her transition was sweet. She gave, the shoes already on the pedals. That's for everybody. But she was able to transition in a way that was really powerful. And I want to just put this in there because there's some people who, again, you're not a sports person, but your transition needs to be quicker. Like we have to adjust. There's some challenges that we face, but if you can transition, if you can shift, if you can adjust, you can survive, you can thrive. So I just felt that I just want to make the connection, not trying to be super deep, but I just love the lessons that we can learn from sport as an academic reality as well. So somebody else, maybe something that you saw in the race that you picked it up and you thought, this is special. Anybody else?
Dr. Tide, piggybacking off of what you just said, Brian Wellman always says this, that he was a student of his craft. You have to know. And this is actually why athletes really succeed in business. We know how to judge a competitive advantage. We know how to take advantage of these types of transitions. And when Brian was a student of his craft, He knew, just as someone said, what other people were eating, when they were sleeping, when they were working out. You know, and you got to know that. I think of the fact that, you know, when I was diving, I knew who I could not beat. I knew who I could beat. And those were the people you had to go after. So, you know, these are the things that, yeah, not just in sport, but in life, you know, your craft, you must study it. And you must study it all the time. You eat, you drink, you sleep your sport. That's what you must do, or your craft. And so, just as everybody has said, this does not come without sacrifice, without hard work, without dedication. And, you know, you leave parties on the side sometimes. You don't drink. You don't eat mess. I love a little ice cream now that I'm retired. But, you know, these things that we sacrifice throughout our lives in order to achieve these heights are the things that people don't see or really appreciate. So the fact that Flora has been this dedicated throughout her career is just something that we should marvel at. It's not something that many of us have achieved, or any Bermudian, but many athletes have gotten to that point. So that level of dedication, not just in sport, but in life, is something that takes you far.
Right.
Yeah, powerful.
And Ty, and Ty, what I want to touch on, and I just want to let you know, Jackson State University, that's me.
All right.
JSU, JSU.
Come on.
You see my football
Represent.
team now, yeah, Jackson State. But who I want to speak to right now, Ty, is to our young women.
Come on.
As Patty said, we lose our young women in sport. You know, so my thing is, what I find is, when you speak to our young women, they get to 16. And when I was coaching in track and field, my thing to mothers and to fathers and to parents was, if we get your daughter over that 16-year-old hump, then we're good to go. What happens is, when they hit that age, you know, I want my hair to look a certain way. I want this to, you know, I don't want to sweat too much. You know, I want to be hanging out with my girlfriends. But what sport gives you all of that? You know, I mean, it is it's part of your body is tight. I'll say that word, it's tight. You know, everything about you looks good. And I always say to parents, get over that 16-year-old hump, and we are good to go, because we lose our girls at 15 and 14. You know, and then when we look at our teams that travel, we look at our Olympic teams, we look at our Commonwealth teams, we're all females. You know, and we have some females that have the talent, they have the ambition, and they drop out. But going back to what you said about sports and your life, I will never, ever, ever take back what I learned from sport. You learn how to win. You learn how to lose. And so once you go into that work world, that's all part and parcel of you. You learn commitment. You learn dedication. You learn that time is A1 important. If someone tells you to make 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock, you're there. Because as an athlete, if your race starts at 8 o'clock and you're not there, they're not going to stand there and wait for you. That race is going to be gone. So it's so much that you learn from sport. And Stan would tell you, we used to be on the beach. We used to be in the Arboretum. Stan seeing me fall down. How many times, Stanley? I
too many
fell
times.
down and got back up, knees bruised and everything.
And bleeding.
And just kept on going. But
amazing.
Sports gives you so much. And I feel, you know, where I am in my career is because of sport. You know, it's taught me how to live life. As I said, it teaches you how to win. You go in for an interview, you don't get that job, you just move on. You don't sit back and you don't think about it. You say, you know what? What's next? You know, you're made redundant at a job. You don't sit back and cry about it. You say, okay, what's my next move? Because sports teaches you that. But like I said, I would like to just reach out to our females and let them know that sport is great. It does not take away your social. It definitely don't take away your look. That's for sure, because that, that helps you along the way. Really it does.
Yeah.
So, I would tell our young girls, and look at Flora, what Flora has done. It is, as Couture said, you miss parties.
Right.
You miss a lot. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's so worth it.
Yes.
It's
I just
so worth it.
Before anyone else jumps in, I just want to just drill down just a little bit further, because we mentioned the names of the Sluggo Levrocks and the Nucky Wells, but I mean, I also think that there are some amazing women that we just go say their names as well, right? I saw someone also say, we've made not just history but her story today, right? Yesterday, and I want to just acknowledge that. I think about, even when we talk about the root and the fruit. Some people, when they hear the name Horton, they would think about, the sporting legacy, Couture, and your family from the Hortons and the like. But I think I've heard about the Green Machine, right? That when you think about
Blue
Machine,
Big Blue Machine.
Right. Come on, I'm gonna get my notes right. The Blue
Stan,
Machine.
what's going on with your son?
Listen, I'm gonna get my notes right. The Blue Machine. Forgive me, that was before my time. You know what I'm saying? The Blue Machine. Forgive me. All right. School your boy. I need to see the Blue Machine. I need to get some additional context for the Blue Machine, right?
For women in sport, the Big Blue Machine. We've got, Debbie Jones Hunter, Donna Raynor, Sonia Smith.
Yeah.
These are the women on whose shoulders we stand. And Jenny Smatt. When we think of greatness in sport, so many of our top athletes have been women, and we just haven't received the recognition over time. But that's why the importance of Donna's position at the BOA is just it's paramount, because she's the chair of the Women in Sports Committee. And as she said, we lose girls in sport, but we have some incredible sporting women who throughout Bermuda's history that we can look to and say, I want to be like that. I want to be like her. And that's something that will never be taken away from any of us. I think of the fact that we've got our top performers over the past few years have been female athletes at the Olympic level. We have one of very few NOC presidents who are female. Our executive board has a number of female administrators. We're female heavy at the BOA. So, this is uncharacteristic of a male dominated sort of realm. Sports has been an old boys club for so long, but the future is female. And we saw that last night. We think of the fact that there's actually additional funding now for NSGBs who are able to grow their girls programs. I think of boxing. The Bermuda Boxing Federation has done an incredible job with their long-term athlete development planning in instituting a brand new endeavor called Fight Girl, because they want the girls to rise to the occasion. When we invest in these girls, they become incredible. So if we've seen further, it's because of this platform that the women who have come before us have laid.
Awesome. Yeah, I think about even folks like Nikita Robinson, and just in other sports, right? I think about back in the day, there was it Terry Lynn. I think was it Terry Painter, I believe. Terry Lynn Painter, right? I remember her being sort of just a trailblazer. I think about, now this is my era, like Jarita Deal, Pacers Track Club. Come on, Marissa Wainwright, Carrie Furbett, one of my mentees. She attended University of Missouri and trained at participated in Carifta. Just others who I saw them excited online. And I want to just go to the next generation. I have a friend. We went to Work Academy. I should shout out Work Academy as well today. And I think Flora also went to, was it Port Royal?
Port Royal and Work Academy.
You know what I mean? So I know that it was a sacrifice, because jumping in that pool in January, I can attest, was cold. And the swimming was not my ministry. I mean, it was okay. I did a little breaststroke, but I know that it was not, you know what I mean? So I'm just celebrating also the Work Academy connection. I'm thinking of my friend Ibu Berry. Ibu, if you're watching, make sure you tell your daughter, who I hear she can beat you in long distance right now. All right. I'm not excited about that, Ibu. I want to challenge you, right? But I want to make sure that your daughter knows that she's got next. and our sons also know that they have next. We're so excited about each of you. We're almost out of time, folks. We got about maybe 4 minutes or so left. I want to make sure that we can close out appropriately and just give each of you a chance to say just a final word briefly, if you can, to Flora. I'm hoping that she'll watch this at some point. I want to make sure that we celebrate Dara. I'm let just a final word that you want to share with Bermuda in this moment, and then we'll celebrate and close out together, and hopefully continue what is to come. And then also doing that, maybe let us know, help us to cast vision for what it should look like for us to even celebrate. What do we do when you have your first gold medalist? Let's cast the vision and create an even larger movement. So who would like to go first with that? I'm going to come to you, Patty. Is that okay? Birthday lady?
No, if I had to reach out to Flora, well done, Flora. You made Bermuda proud. We're all proud of you. I think all the expressions on social media, whatever, says it all. We look forward to you coming back to Bermuda so we can celebrate you as an individual and with your goal. So kudos to you. Proud of you. You brought home the gold for all of us.
Yes. Awesome. What would an appropriate celebration look like, Patty? What should we be doing as a nation today or the next week?
Oh, God, that's hard to say. I think that's up to the government, but maybe a public holiday or a parade with Flora. I know we did that once before. There's so many different avenues, and I'm sure the government and the Premier's office, they could have something in mind already, but it's a very special moment for everybody, all the athletes, all the young women. We just need to celebrate in a huge style for the country.
I love it. Thank you so much, Patty. We really appreciate your contribution as a part of the root system that helped to create this moment. Thank you so much. I'd like to go next. How about Ms. Rana? Talk to us, if you would.
Well, I would definitely want to congratulate Flora. And as chairperson of the Women in Sport, I just think it's fantastic. We've had events where we've had Flora. She wasn't able to be here, but she always sent in a video. Pretty soon we'll be looking at our next event, and we'll definitely be reaching out to Flora. Hopefully we can get her on the island this time. But I would say congratulations. Big congratulations. I mean, this is something. I mean, I've been receiving emails from all of my Caribbean friends, in athletics, basically saying, "Wow, Donna, you guys must be really excited," and we are very excited. What I would say from a celebration standpoint, I don't know. I know, we've seen the other islands when Kashan Wolcott, when he won his gold medal from Trinidad in the javelin. They bought him a house. He has property. He has a business, and so on and so forth. And I know in Bermuda we can't do anything as big as that. I think Bermuda's probably a little bit more expensive than Trinidad. But I think there has to be some sort of recognition. There has to be some sort of celebration. But I will say, I don't want to keep bringing it up because this is Flora's moment. But we still, to me, have not celebrated Clarence either. But we cannot take away from what Flora has done, and we still can't take away from what Clarence has done. But at this point in time, it is Flora's time. Flora has put Bermuda. I can't say she's put Bermuda on the map because Bermuda's already been on the map.
Right.
People keep saying Flora put Bermuda on the map. Brian put Bermuda on the map. Kachuras put Bermuda on the map. Nikki Saunders has put Bermuda on the map. So we've been on the map. But she has definitely put a shine to us from an Olympic standpoint. And I say a big thank you. And as I said, on behalf of the women in sport, women power. All
right. I'm going to come to Mr. Norbert Simons. Thank you again, Ms. Rana. You've seen the comments. Folks are saying thank you to you as well for your hard work. Mr. Simons, what would you like to say to Flora Duffy? What would you like to say to Bermuda as we celebrate this moment? We appreciate you, sir. I think we lost him. All right, we're going to go to you, Mr. Wellman, if that's okay. We'll come to you. You're on mute, I think. If you can unmute.
Yes, congratulations to Flora on her incredible achievement. Obviously, she set the bar to the the highest rung. There's no excuse now to. There's no excuse for any of us not to be able to achieve to whatever level we desire to achieve to, because she's gone out and done it. So I just praise her for all her hard work and continues to put us on the map, because each of us have done our little part, but every once in a while if you don't have somebody current, you kind of get forgotten. And so she's basically keeping the light on us, which is, I think, a great thing. And, all I think we at least need to do a parade and that's the other issue. I think we need to, that's new to Bermuda in terms of being able to celebrate Bermudians, as opposed to all of us have these, soccer teams that aren't Bermudian that we all celebrate and wear our jerseys and stuff. We need to get behind our own and have Flora, Duffy jerseys and stuff of that nature to support our own homegrown Bermudians that put us on the map and put us to that level. So we need to create our own, build our own, support our own.
I love it. Mr. Douglas, we want to come to you, sir. Talk to us.
Well,
Flora Duffy, what do you want to say to her? Yeah.
First of all, being in the game for a while, I understand all the work, and I would, as I said in our post the other night, I said we have to thank all those people that helped her stay in the game, but most of all, we have to help her for sticking to her plan and becoming a success, as she saw herself being a success. Because sometimes in sport, your real success may be in learning how to achieve and taking that somewhere else. I see that in a lot of the athletes that we coached years ago. They're able to do things that others don't do because they learn to manage, they learn to set goals and work hard towards them. So Flora is a total success. Even if it wasn't for the gold medal, she would be a success for me because she worked hard, she stuck to her goals, and she had some personal challenges that would have made people stop. And I think that Bermuda celebrating the gold, we're celebrating her, and we're celebrating the fact that achievement comes from steadfastness, staying in the game. The people that you see here on this panel, most of them had just to stay in the game. Patty, as an administrator, started out, carrying the clipboard and then organizing events. And now she's an international official. All of these athletes I know personally because I've seen them work hard. Sure. I've seen them have to embrace the dissatisfaction of failing to achieve the goal, but I've seen them make the adjustment and come back. So what I'm saying is this is more than just a goal. This is the experience that matters. And if you want to be successful in life, you have to embrace the good with the bad. I always say that sometimes you go through things that you don't like, but there's an opportunity for a lesson. There's opportunity for a lesson. And when we talk about women in sport, Donna pointed out one thing that is absolutely true. If you look at the statistics, at Carifta level in the under 16, we have some fantastic athletes, right? And by the time they're 16, the boy is standing on the rail, inviting them to do something else, like come and watch him, but he won't come and watch her. So we've got to get real. Our women can compete with any woman in the world right now. Right? The science of sport is moving in that direction. And if you don't learn, if you can't learn, you're not going to be successful. And that's been my mantra. Accept everything that goes on as an opportunity to learn.
That's great. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Dad. I appreciate you. I'm going to go to Norbert Simons as well. Mr. Simons, thoughts to Flora, thoughts as relates to this celebration of this moment.
Well,
We lost him. That's okay. That's all right. We'll come back to him. Hopefully, we can get him on right before we close. The first female diver from any country who happens to be from our country, Ms. Couture, talk to us. And to
you know what? I'm so proud of Flora, and we are all so proud of Flora. So, I hope that she understands the magnitude of her accomplishment, and the fact that she is all of us. She's a homegrown Bermudian, and she is a quintessential professional.
Yeah.
I think the best part about Flora is not that she is the number one triathlete in the world, on the planet.
Say that one more time. Can you say that one more time?
An incredible human being. She has started the Flora Fund to help young athletes. She's an incredible teammate and a friend, and just at the top of her game. All I can think when I think of her, Flora, is humility. She is humble, she is kind, and she is ever present in pubbing Bermuda and making sure that we are well represented on the world stage, not just in her sport. So, to look to Flora as an ambassador for this country, we are just so blessed to have her. And I can speak for myself. I can speak for Brian, as Olympians, as fellow Olympians. I mean, this is as much our celebration as it is hers. We can look at her and just say, my goodness, we're all OLYs, So with celebrating her, I mean, I would actually recommend that St. George's name themselves Flora so that they can perhaps win something.
Here we go. I knew it was coming.
If they would like to rename.
I knew it was coming.
I mean, I think a day is in order, maybe a street, maybe a building, maybe a parish. But yeah, I mean, this is an achievement of monumental heights, and I know she knows the magnitude, and so do all of us.
Yeah, I love almost everything that you said. The St. George's, little dig. I knew. And what a wonderful time for this to happen, right? As we go into Cup Match Week, it's just a great time of celebration as well for Bermuda. I've seen some mention maybe she should be Dame Flora Duffy. Whatever we do, I know that it'll be wonderful and important to leverage this moment, and to do that also requires that we again acknowledge the individuals have been on this call. I know Mr. Simons, I had a bit of a technical challenge, so he wasn't able to give a final word. But just knowing him, I'm thinking that he will want every young person to know that they have great potential. And he has poured into many. I think about even some of our young athletes that we've lost. I just want to acknowledge, and we could say, just thinking about him, I believe it's Mr. His name was Mr. Parent Chief. I believe that was
Clavante Lodge.
Mr. Lodge. Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Lodge.
Don't kill Janai, please.
No. Yeah, Mr. Lodge. Just thinking about him and his family. Just the larger context of the emotions that we feel. Mr. Simons has poured into many young people. So I just want to just mention Mr. Lodge's name and just think about him, but also thinking about others who, we see the fruit, but we also want to celebrate the root and the process there. I love what you shared around that, whether she had one girl or not, she's a success. I think that's important because, again, in Bermuda, we know how to celebrate the high moments, but we can also be a tough audience when you are not doing so well. And so, again, for a young person who's watching, there will be, for everything that it took for her, for this moment to happen, there was a lot of, I'm sure, difficult days, dark days, frustrating days. And so whatever your journey is, whatever you're going through, know that you can overcome. I want to also thank our Burn News team for allowing this sort of quick sort of conversations that happened. This is our first time, but I just thought it was important that we could get together as a family today and allow me to I just need to be 10 toes down, Couture. I needed to just feel my people in Bermuda, just to feel how you were feeling, to give you some love from California, to say thank you again to each of you for your contributions. And I think it'll be appropriate, and I hope that someone will play it I hope you play it all over Bermuda today, but it says, but for us, this is not how the story ends. Come on. We've braved rough seas before, and we'll do it again. Come on. Truth is, there is more to us. Come on. A strength that's at the core of us. A kindness that will shine through the tough times. Together we will overcome. We'll find the strength to rise above. Where you at? On your way to work. Anything. Come on. Really doesn't matter. Come on. There's no place better. Come on. Really doesn't matter. One more time. No place better. One more time. Come on. Really doesn't matter. Hey, come on. No place better. Proud to be Bermudian. Hey. God bless you. Have an amazing day. Flora, Duffy, we love you. Dara, we love you. Bermuda, we love you. Have an amazing day. Thank you so much. Brand News team, thank you for having us. Have a great day.